Hey everybody, it's Damien from Guitar Journey here. And yes, 2025 marks 40 years of playing for me. And in this short video, I want to share with you 5 pieces of advice that I wish somebody had given me 40 years ago. 5 pieces of advice that would have made my journey go a lot more smoothly and would have made my practice time much more efficient. There are 5 things you absolutely need to be working on no matter what level you are, beginner through advanced. I'm going to tell you exactly what those 5 things are, and I'm going to give you some insight on how to work on them, again, no matter what level you are, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And on that point, whatever level you are, don't try to learn everything all at once. Just make a little resolution to yourself that you're going to take one step forward from wherever you are with each of these 5 things, okay? The first thing you absolutely positively must be working on is rhythm. Now, rhythm means more than having a good vocabulary of chords, and it also means more than just being able to play to a metronome or to a drum beat. If you're a beginner, well, yeah, that's what you should be focusing on. Being able to play to a metronome, being able to play to a drum beat. But if you're an intermediate or a more advanced level player, you should be working on taking on more complex note groupings, 16th notes, triplet 16ths, syncopated passages, playing off the beat, that kind of thing, okay? Work on incorporating these note groupings not only into your chord playing, but also into your solos. Couple of quick examples. I can strum a simple rhythm with this cool chord up the neck like this in a simple way. But I can also play it in more of a syncopated fashion, a little bit like this. I can play a simple lick like this. But I can take pretty much that same lick, but really emphasize playing off the beat, kind of like this. So that's task number 1. No matter where you are, what level you are, you absolutely, positively should be working on your rhythm, okay? The next thing you want to work on, again, not learning everything all at once, I really want to emphasize that, taking a modest step forward from wherever you happen to be, work on your understanding of music theory. Now, quick point, if you're a total beginner, maybe you disregard this, because you really don't need any music theory at first when you're just getting started, and actually trying to learn it when you're just getting started can be kind of frustrating. That being said, if you're more in the advanced beginner, intermediate, and certainly advanced levels, you want to learn at least a bare minimum of music theory, and that bare minimum is your chromatic scale. Even if you decide never to study a single other topic in music theory, you absolutely, positively must know your chromatic scale, literally backwards and forwards. Just as an aside, I have a whole video on the chromatic scale. I'm going to give you the link to that video in the description below. But if you're already comfortable with your chromatic scale, well, where do you go from here? I'd suggest that the next thing you want to learn is how to determine which notes are going to be found in which keys. And after you do that, extend that knowledge into knowing what chords are going to be found in which keys. And if you already have that knowledge, then you're probably going to want to look into chord formulas, how to build chords. And we're not just talking about how to find chords on the fretboard, but really know and understand what notes are in each chord, what specific notes. And that'll help us to know what scale will work with each individual chord, each individual specific chord. And if you're already knowing all that, then probably next thing you want to do is work on deepening your understanding of what we call chord scale compatibility, which is one of the keys to more advanced improvisation. Or in the alternative, you can take on the whole world of chord substitutions, harmonization, and so forth. Because if you have all the knowledge that I mentioned just a moment ago, knowing your chromatic scale, knowing your keys, knowing the chord formulas and all that, then really sky's the limit at that point. You can kind of choose what you're going to focus on. So that is piece of advice number 2. Learn at least a tiny bit of music theory. Don't overwhelm yourself. I know I keep saying that. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just take one step forward from wherever you are. Your chromatic scale, then understand the notes in a key, understand which chords are going to be found in which key, understand the formula behind different types of chords, then harmonization, chord substitution, chord scale compatibility, and so forth. All right? Step 3. The next thing you want to be working on really goes hand in hand with music theory, and that's knowing the notes on your fretboard. I mean, after all, we'd like to be able to apply the music theory that we learn in our playing, right? There are tons and tons of things online to help you get to know your neck, okay? And honestly, whatever happens to be helpful for you, well, that's what you should be using. For me personally, I'm not a fan of trying to memorize the neck, nor am I a fan of these big systems that promise to unlock the fretboard for you, okay? I bet you've heard those words before. This will unlock the fretboard for you. I think the best way to learn your neck is to do musical things, drills and exercises that you'll actually use in your playing. So what does your one step forward from wherever you happen to be look like based on your current experience level? Well, if you're in more of the earlier stages, you just want to learn the notes on the 5th and the 6th strings because that's where your bar chords and your scales are going to be rooted. And of course, like I mentioned a moment ago, knowing your chromatic scale backwards and forwards is the key to this. But if you're more experienced and you already know the notes on your 5th and your 6th strings, well, next thing would be to do a variety of exercises that'll help you to learn the 1st through the 4th strings. You can accomplish that by learning chords all over the neck. For example, you got these D chords. Or these A7 chords. Or you could play double stops up and down the neck like this. Or you could put on a jam track and improvise using only one string at a time in a variety of keys. Maybe you can do some scale exercises involving 2 strings at a time, and again, you're going to stretch this out over a variety of keys. And of course, as you work on things like improvising on only 1 string at a time, 2 string scales, double stops up the neck, as I've been saying, you're going to change keys, and that's going to require you to know which notes are going to be found in a given key, which you'll recall I listed as around step 2 when we're looking to broaden our understanding of music theory. So as you can see, pretty much everything that you want to be working on informs everything else. All the skills that we develop work together and strengthen each other, okay? So working on your knowledge of the fretboard is action item number 3. Well, what's item number 4? How about we work on our physical technique, okay? Something I really want to emphasize is that having good technique is not just for, sometimes we call them shredders, players that play real fast all over the neck. I don't care what musical style you play, good, clean technique is always valuable. It's always something we should be striving for. So how does that play out for different skill levels? What's your one step forward from wherever you are? If you're more in the beginner stages, work on fretting your chords really cleanly and clearly. And if you're at the point where you're practicing scales, well, do the same thing. Make sure your hand is more or less perpendicular to the neck. Your fingers are curled so that you're pressing down on the strings with the tips of your fingers. You don't want to be flat on the string. When you're practicing a scale, focus on clean alternate picking like this. And as you become more advanced, you'll want to work on different challenges, like working on the accuracy of your right hand to skip across strings, maybe in a musical passage like this. Also, you want to develop the speed and precision of your fretting hand. A great way to do this is by incorporating a variety of hammer-ons and pull-offs into your playing. Here are a couple of great exercises along those lines. You can focus on the speed of your picking in a variety of ways, simply by playing your scales faster, but also by incorporating short bursts of speed, like in this really cool scale exercise that goes straight up the neck. And of course, one last aspect of good technique that frankly a lot of people overlook is the actual synchronization of your left and your right hands. There are a lot of different exercises for this. I like a single string exercise kind of like this one. I find this one to be very helpful. Or while I'm fretting chords, a simple cross-picking exercise can really challenge how well my hands are synchronized. So those are some very helpful ways to move forward with your physical technique from wherever you happen to be. Okay, the last item on your to-do list is kind of a little bit abstract sounding, but that doesn't mean that it's any less important than the others. The last item is focusing on soul, emotions, your connection with your instrument, beyond all the technique, beyond all the scales, beyond all the music theory. The ultimate purpose of what we're doing here is to express ourselves, to communicate in a language without words. And so I think it's a really good idea for all of us to just disconnect from our daily routine for a little while, shut off the metronome, turn off the backing tracks, and really connect with our instrument. Really listen to each note that you're playing. And again, without any backing tracks or anything else, with each note, you're opening up yourself to how it makes you feel, how you want to express yourself. You can do this with chords or with scales, coming up with a creatively expressed chord sequence, coming up with a melody, using a certain scale, whatever. Really doesn't matter. What does matter is that you shut out every distraction and you are 100% focused on the sounds that you're making, the music that you're creating with your instrument. And I know that sounds abstract, but I sincerely believe not enough players do this. And in my opinion, it is super, super important and also very rewarding, okay? So whatever level you happen to be at, even if you're a super advanced player, spend some time connecting with your instrument, appreciating whatever sound you're creating, really focusing on the beauty of what you're playing. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Again, no matter where you are, you should be making it part of your daily routine to work on rhythm, work on your understanding of music theory, even if at a fairly rudimentary level, work on your understanding of the neck, work on your physical technique, and work on your emotional connection to your instrument. However experienced you may be, whatever level you are, if you focus on these things, and with apologies to John Coltrane, your playing will take giant steps forward, okay? I hope you found this useful. If you did, please give this video a like and please also subscribe to the Guitar Journey channel. We got a ton of content here, from music theory videos to playing tips and techniques to backing tracks and to videos like this that help you navigate the awesome but sometimes overwhelming journey that is learning and playing guitar. So again, please hit like and please hit subscribe. Now, if you really, really like today's video, please buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee at the link in the description below. And if you have a question or if you have a suggestion for a future video, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section below. I really do welcome your input. So please hit like, please hit subscribe, buy me a coffee if you want to. Feel free to ask a question or make a suggestion for a future video in the comments section below. And best of all, have a great day.